The Great Wall of China is often called the greatest wall ever built by humanity. But what if I told you? The most terrifying part of the wall is not what stands above the ground. It's what may still be hidden inside it. Every year, millions of tourists walk across the restored sections near Beijing. They take photos beside ancient stone battlements stretching endlessly across green mountains and leave believing they have seen the Great Wall. But they haven't, because the real wall exists far away from tourist paths, broken, forgotten, swallowed by forests and deserts. In some places, it no longer even looks like a wall at all, just a strange ridge of earth cutting through empty landscapes. And, according to archaeologists, these abandoned sections may still contain sealed chambers, hidden relics, and messages untouched for centuries. One such discovery began in 2012. A team of Chinese archaeologists was surveying a remote section of the wall in Hebei province using LiDAR scanners, lasers capable of detecting hollow spaces hidden inside solid structures. At first, the readings made no sense. Inside one of the ancient watchtowers, the scanners detected a rectangular empty space sealed completely within the stonework. No doorway, no windows, no tunnels, just a hidden room trapped inside the tower itself. Someone had built a chamber, and then erased every sign that it ever existed. The discovery was so unusual that archaeologists spent nearly 2 years fighting through government approvals before they were finally allowed to open it. In 2014, restorers carefully removed the bricks one by one. Every single stone was numbered and documented. Then, for the first time in centuries, light entered the chamber again. And what they found inside changed the way historians looked at the wall forever. But to understand why this discovery matters, you first need to understand something important. The Great Wall is not one wall. It is hundreds of walls built across more than 2,000 years by different Chinese dynasties. Some sections were built from stone, others from packed earth, reeds, and wood. Some are strong enough to survive earthquakes. Others are slowly dissolving back into the desert. The earliest walls appeared long before China became a unified empire. But in 221 BCE, Emperor Qin Shi Huang ordered many of these defenses connected together into one enormous military barrier. The project was almost unimaginable in scale. Hundreds of thousands of laborers, prisoners, and soldiers were forced into construction. They worked in freezing mountains, burning deserts, and deadly storms. Many never returned home. According to ancient accounts, workers who died during construction were sometimes buried directly inside the wall itself. Whether that was ritual, or simply because nobody had time to dig graves, historians still argue about it today. But one thing is certain. The Great Wall was built with human suffering on a colossal scale, and, over the centuries, each dynasty expanded it further. The Han Dynasty pushed the wall deep into Central Asia. The Ming Dynasty later rebuilt massive sections using bricks and stone, the same dramatic sections tourists visit today. And it was inside one of these Ming watchtowers that the hidden chamber waited silently for centuries. The watchtowers themselves were miniature fortresses. Thousands of them lined the wall. Soldiers slept there, stored weapons there, sent signals from there. If enemies approached, guards lit fires on the tower roofs using wolf dung, creating thick smoke visible for miles. One smoke column meant a small enemy force. 2 meant danger. 3 meant invasion. The signal could travel across hundreds of kilometers within hours, one of the earliest long-distance warning systems ever created. But life inside these towers was brutal. Imagine standing guard for months in freezing mountain winds. No family, little food, constant fear of attack. Archaeologists still find evidence left behind by lonely soldiers: broken bowls, coins, gambling dice, scraps of clothing, even graffiti carved into bricks. Some wrote poems. Some cursed their commanders. Some simply wrote names. desperate proof that they once existed. One recovered message described a soldier who walked out beyond the wall one night toward the steppe and never returned. Nobody went after him. The wall wasn't just a military structure, it was a prison of isolation. And now, back to the sealed chamber. When archaeologists finally entered the hidden room, they noticed something immediately. The air smelled ancient, dry, dusty, completely still. Because the chamber had remained sealed for centuries, the atmosphere inside had barely changed since the day it was closed. The room itself was small and simple: brick walls, earth floor, vaulted ceiling, and, in the center, a wooden chest. The wood had darkened with age but survived surprisingly well in the dry conditions. When the lid was lifted, the team found several objects carefully stored inside. The first item was a long scroll written in classical Chinese. Despite being hundreds of years old, the text remained readable. It was a military report. The document listed troop numbers, food supplies, weapons, and the condition of soldiers stationed at the tower. But the most disturbing part appeared at the very end. A second message had been added in a different handwriting. Smaller, messier, almost panicked. It was a personal plea from the garrison commander. He warned that large groups of nomadic raiders had appeared beyond the mountain pass. His soldiers were terrified and refusing to patrol the wall. He begged for reinforcements. And then he wrote something chilling. "If help does not arrive within 1 moon, this position cannot be held." There is no evidence help ever came. Inside the chest, archaeologists also discovered bronze officer seals, objects more valuable than signatures in imperial China. A seal represented authority itself. Without it, an officer had no command, which raises a haunting question. Why hide them? Historians believe the officers may have sealed the chamber themselves before abandoning the tower, hiding military documents and command seals so enemies could never capture them, as if they believed someone someday might return. Other objects inside were even stranger: bronze arrowheads, ancient coins, a jade dragon amulet, and one small ceramic figurine shaped like a kneeling warrior holding a sword. It looked crude, almost homemade, but scratched into its base were 2 simple Chinese characters. "Do not leave." Nobody knows exactly what it meant. A prayer? A warning? Or the desperate final thoughts of a frightened soldier trapped on the edge of the empire? And this is where the story becomes even darker, because discoveries like this are probably only the beginning. Less than 5% of the entire Great Wall system has been properly studied by professional archaeologists. The remaining 95% stretches through isolated mountains, deserts, forests, and abandoned regions few people ever visit, which means thousands of hidden spaces may still exist inside the wall. Sealed rooms, buried relics, forgotten messages, possibly even human remains. And sometimes, the wall reveals them accidentally. After storms or collapses, workers occasionally uncover bones, coins, weapons, or hidden compartments trapped behind the masonry for centuries. Every fallen brick becomes a possible doorway into the past. But here lies the terrible dilemma. To search for these secrets often means damaging the wall itself. And the wall is already disappearing. Large sections have collapsed from erosion, earthquakes, and vandalism. In some rural villages, people once stole ancient bricks from the wall to build houses and barns. Even today, entire stretches continue to crumble silently into dust. And yet, perhaps that destruction is also why some secrets are finally emerging, because the Great Wall was never simply a monument to victory. In reality, it was built from fear. Fear of invasion, fear of chaos beyond the frontier, fear of what waited outside the borders of civilization. And inside its stones, that fear still survives. Not in legends, not in textbooks, but in real objects left behind by real people who believed they might never see home again. A desperate letter asking for reinforcements, a hidden military seal, a tiny figurine whispering, "Do not leave." These are not the stories tourists hear while taking selfies near Beijing, but they may be the most important stories the wall has to tell, because somewhere beneath collapsed towers and forgotten stone, the Great Wall is still hiding pieces of human history that nobody alive has seen. And maybe, at this very moment, there are sealed chambers still waiting in darkness, exactly as they were left hundreds of years ago by the last soldier who placed the final brick and walked away forever.